I mean, I realized that my VTIA form video only covered VTI1s, and I forgot to film the VTI2 and 3 video. It is very similar, but we're going to jump into it and go over some of that conjugation because I know that even though I have it all written out in that document, sometimes it's easier to follow along with the video. So let's jump in. Our VTI1 verbs, as mentioned in the other video, end with an, and you saw some things happen to those endings, such as when you add a person in the positive form, that an ending would expand to aan. So like agindan, an ending, read it. This is a command form to one person only. And then if you add a person onto the front, like he or she is reading it, ween, he or she, needs to be added on in this form because it's not built into the person or into the verb. So we add some form of O to represent ween to the front. Od in Don, and it expands to AAN. He or she is reading it. It's present tense. And then there's an it in here that does need to be referenced at some point. So in this case, we could say he's reading a book. And we write Mazina Egan. Odaginda Maznaigan. He is reading a book. Agindan starts with a vowel, and that's why we use this form of ween in front as od. Just an O in front of consonants, OD in front of vowels, and then ODO in front of words that start with O. So then it would extend. Just a quick refresher there. Now, if we're talking about more than one person reading it, like let's say they are reading it, it would be more than one he or she. It starts with ween, and then again don, this extends because we're adding a person. You add a, wa, that, this, and this make it more than one he or she, or they all are reading it. But if you want to put it in a negative form, like they are not reading it, in the gaween form, you need the gaween in front of it. Gaween, odagin, done, z, wa. And we only have the short part here. It's kind of clipped, it's kind of short. He is not doing it. And then you have your form of seen in here, or form of see. But because it's followed by a vowel beginning part here, we use the form that still has the N on it. Some dialects always use this form. And you can, if you want to, you won't be wrong. As far as I know, as I've been taught, and it's just what my teacher told me about the dialect over in White Earth area, is that typically that N is either very nasalized or isn't really heard at all. And so that's why I don't write it with the N in BAI form. But in this form, we need the N because it's followed by awa. So gawin, odagindan zinawa. The zine and the gawin work together to make this not happen. And that's our VTI1 verbs. The most common verb, most common form of VTIs found in the dictionary. VTI2s, the second most common, end with un. These words are like dunetun, leave it alone, agin, not again, agudun, which is hang it up, or atun, put it. Ingii-apagadoon, put it back. Biitoonigan, have enough of it, and so on and so forth. There is a document in the Google Classroom. There's a couple documents. The first one is VTI1 Verbs, where I scoured the dictionary. I found a whole bunch of words that may typically pertain to classroom or home environments and put them all into one document. And then I did the same thing in another document for VTI2s and 3s, and those are linked. So if you're ever looking for VTI verbs to practice with, or a specific like verb that talks about acting on some kind of an object or an it, then you can check out that document or just use the dictionary. So let's say we want to talk about Gigii-apagadoon in the positive form. Our singular persons, we only add onto the front in A form. A form is, again, that independent clause, simple sentence that carries meaning and doesn't depend on anything else for any more meaning. Let's see. So our mean, I or me, mean, you, ween, singular people. Positive form, we add some form of ni to the front, some form of gi to the front, or some form of o to the front. In negative form, we do that. And on the end, if it's a gaween form, we add seen or zine, depending on what it ends with. Seen, seen. But this ends with an N, and typically that N would trigger the change of S to Z. But that's not going to happen in the gaween form in this case because of a conjugation pattern that occurs where the N on the un ending falls off. One could also say that the C actually just scooches in between the U and the N, however you want to look at it. So let's see. We need an object. Mean is a blueberry. Mean. Blueberry. More than one blueberries is mean un. You see that? Okay, mean un. Blueberries. So let's ask someone in a question, yes or no question. Do you, Ian, have enough blueberries? So have enough of it is biitoonigan, and we'll write that here. We start out with the verb that we know, biitoonigan, which is have enough of it. We are asking a yes/no question, which is going to come second spot in the word. So that is marked by ina, our question marker. Biitoonigan ina. This does not make sense by itself, not the way a VAI verb would, where the person is built into it. Biitoonigan by itself is a command. Have enough of it. It doesn't really make sense as a command, but that's really the form that it's in. So biitoonigan ina doesn't make sense. You need a person on there. We're asking if Gin has enough, so we need some form of gi. It starts with a consonant, so we're going to use gi in front. Biitoonigan ina. And then what is it we're asking? We're asking if they have enough blueberries. something else happens in this case. If we're asking about more than one item, there's something called plural agreement that has to occur here. I like it because it makes words and sentences almost kind of rhyme. So we're asking, do you have enough mean-un? Mean. And I'm gonna make that plural. Mean-un. So Gigii-apagadoon Ingii-miijin. And this plural here has to have a plural that agrees here. It's almost like saying, do you have enough of them berries? Instead of, do you have enough of one berries? Doesn't make sense. Both of these need to be plural. And then let's say you want to respond with, no, I do not have enough blueberries. So now there's a few things that we have to think about in that answer or in that question. Move things up. We just asked. So no, I don't. So no, I don't. That's a Gawin statement. So we're going to start with Gawin. Gawin. It's present tense. We're talking about I or me. I or me is need. We need some form of need. Our verb starts with a consonant D. Biitoonigan. So Gawin, inde, and that form of need is nin or in. Gawin biitoonigan, and we need seen on the end. But here's what happens. This N gets either falls off and replaced with seen, or the N just gets pushed out to here, to the end, and you put C in there. I like to think it just falls off and I add seen. Gawin biitoonigan, but we're still talking about more than one item. Gawin biitoonigan, there's our plural, mean-un. And that's how that goes. So Gawin biitoonigan, mean-un. I do not have enough blueberries. No. So now we could ask, what about them? Do they have enough blueberries? And that's going to be a positive statement. It's a question. It's an in-a question. And we're talking about they plural. So we start out again with our verb, biitoonigan, have enough of it. Now we're talking about winawa, they, more than one, he or she. And that is ween, some form of O. It starts with a consonant. So we just put O in front. biitoonigan, that's he or she. He or she has it. We want they. So now we add wa. Nothing else has to change here, not like in the an ending ones where we had to extend the an to aan. This one, you just add on the suffix, double the plural person suffix. biitoonigan. Then we have ina in the second spot in the word. Ina, second spot. And we're asking about blueberries. Mean-un. But this is plural, so we need to add our plural agreement up here. Since it's a vowel, you don't have to add an, you just add n. biitoonigan, ina, mean-un. Do they have enough blueberries? And let's negate that one. With no, they don't have enough blueberries. And Darwin. Or how about we change up the person? We'll make it no, we all do not have enough blueberries. Maybe they overheard you asking, do they have enough blueberries? No, we don't. Not over here. So Darwin, Davisatoon. The person is we all, so that's Gigii-miijin. Gigii-miijin is get min for the positive. Like let's see, some form of get in front, that's gonna be just get Davisatoon. And when you're doing the positive form, that n falls off for this and is replaced with the min. So like we have enough of it, Davis-tumen, but we do not have enough of it. So the n still falls off. We just get C squeezed in here because C is greedy and wants to be right next to the word. And then we get min. Gawin gedebis to semen. We do not have enough mean un. And here is where we have one of those very few exceptions to our rules. And I still make mistakes with this occasionally. And as we all do, there is no plural agreement when we're talking about us, Gina-wind or Nina-wind. So you could have a plural object right here, and this up here does not need any kind of un on the end. The knowledge of it being plural is dependent entirely on the object being pluralized. So I guess it's easier because it's one less step you have to remember. Gawin gedebis semen, me none. No, we all do not have enough berries. We, including you, because we use the get form, which references Gin. Now, if we wanted to say we, excluding you, not the person we're talking to, it would simply be Nin Davis to Seaman Minan. We don't have enough blueberries. What about you? Hey, Gin? Hey, Nadine? Or maybe Nadine and you? So let's switch it up. Let's use a time tense and say you should put it on the table. This is going to make it a little bit longer. Put it. That word is attune. Put it. It's in command form to one person. We're saying you should. Let's talk about Ginawa. Ginawa, all of you. And that's ge, wa. So it starts with a vowel. Oh wait, that's in present tense. We need you should. So get da. I'm running out of colors here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to color code. Get da. This is the should, would, or could tense. Da. Get da atun awa. What are they putting? Let's see. Their papers. The word for paper is like book, mazin, igun, except for it's diminutive, so it's that onts, that nasalized sound. Masnagans is one paper, but we're talking about more than one paper. We're saying you should put papers on the table. So I'm going to add that plural here, masnagansen. Ita atuna wa, our plural agreement. And anybody know the word for table? A dupuin. A dupuin. And I'm going to add in a fun tidbit. When you're talking about putting something in, on, or at a noun, you add something to the end called a locative. And that is meaning it is in, at, or on the table. So we don't have a separate word for like in, at, or on. We have a suffix. And in many cases, that suffix is a form of ing. Sometimes it's ong, sometimes it's ong, sometimes it's just ng, depending on what it ends with, but dupuining. Gida atunawan, maznagasan a dupuining. You should put those, or you should put them, papers, on the table. Now, if we wanted to make it, you should not put the papers on the table, all of yous, all we have to do is make it a Gawin statement. And so our Gawin starts the sentence. And I'm just gonna hyphenate it or abbreviate it like Gawin right there. Atun awa. C. No. I almost messed myself up there. So the C, the N falls off. It's replaced by seen. Then you get, because it's that seen has to be right next to the verb, wa. And our plural agreement for our papers here. So this is our negation team. Gawin kita atusinawan, is negasan adupuning. You should not put the papers on the table. All right, let's see. That's about how that works. I'm trying to think if there's anything else with that form of verb we need to go over. I would suggest looking at your paradigms and just running through some sentence drills. Pick out some verbs from your verb lists or from the dictionary and practice coming up with simple sentences, things that you might find yourself saying to students in school, like, you should hang up your coats. And so if you have a plural possessive, your, you all, get, noun, and then iwa, that is all of yours, like couch, for example. Abiwin? No, wait. Dinwa Pabiwin, I think. So that's like one big item that belongs to multiple of you. But if we're talking about all of your coats, like all of yous don't own just one coat, you own each of you an individual coat, so then you'd have an N on the end to indicate that it's plural. And it's an N because a coat is inanimate, it's an N-I, noun inanimate. Let's see if I can fit that in here. Beans, kawagan. Beans kawagan iwan. You're all coats. So let's say agudun, gida agudunawa. You should hang up your coats. You should agudun awa. Plural agreement comes in. Kita agudun awan, gibin sa kawagan yuan. And for those of you who maybe watched ahead and saw the B form videos, I'm going to add in a little golden nugget here. And if you go watch the B form video and come back, this will make sense. If you're already ahead, enjoy. Jibois. Bindige. Bindige. Gag. Yadagudunawan. Gibibin sa kawagan yuan. Jibois bindige yag. Win ing. So, oh, here we go again. Here's another locative, ing, right here. So win, a room, in the room. So here we go. Gidagudunawan, gibabinsa kawagan iwan. Use should hang up your coats before jibois. Use enter the room. So this portion right here is a B form dependent clause. Before you enter the room, ... does not make sense as a standalone. And so it is dependent on this A form independent clause for this to make sense, for it to have meaning. So for those of you who watched or who are going to go watch B form VTI verbs or VAI verbs, because this is a VAI, I hope this, I hope you enjoy this. Anyway, let's check out our VTI3 verbs. And as far as I know, maybe there's more, but I haven't found anyone that knows more than 2. And our VTI verbs are verbs that end in IN, such as Ingii-miijin, eat it, and nadin, fetch it, or go get it. So this one does not really have anything strange that happens to it. It is almost identical to the un ending verbs in that that N will fall off when you're talking about plural people. Well, some plural people. You just see Miijin, Miijinawa, not this one. Let me just give examples. So again, we all know Gigii-miijin, you are eating it. Ingii-miijin, Miijin, I eat it. Miijin, he or she eats it. Or it becomes present tense. You just add your singular persons onto the front in A form, and that's the way that goes. So now if we're going to add our persons onto the end, let's talk about Nina Wind. Nina Wind is Nina Wind, that's us, not you, because you is nowhere to be found. Gina Wind is us, including you, because you is right there in Gin. Anyway, so you all ate sandwiches, let's say. So eat it in present tense, 미ijin. I'm gonna get rid of this up here. You still see that? Yep, 미ijin. We're talking about you all. Actually, we're not. We're talking about we all. We all, not you. We all ate it. So we need a form of nin, our past tense, time tense. We'll say Ingii-miijin. Right now it just means I ate it. But we need ninuwind, which is us. So that's more than one of us, not you. Our N falls off the end. And we get min. Ingii-miijin. We ate it. Biitoonigan. Biitoonigan. But we all did not just eat one sandwich, we all ate sandwiches. So we're gonna add an to make it plural, but we're talking about ninuwind and there is no plural agreement, so it's just Ingii-miijin biitoonigan. We all ate sandwiches. Now we wanna say, we all, including you. Hey, remember when we all ate sandwiches, you and I, and the rest of us in here, like whoever happens to be here? Yeah. The only difference, the only thing that changes is you use the form of gin on the front. Ge, time tense gi to make it past. Gigii-miijin biitoonigan. We all, including you guys, ate sandwiches. They're good sandwiches. All right. So now let's talk about we did not eat sandwiches. We're still in our past tense here. So our past tense, we have gi. Our verb we know is miijin. We have to start with gawin because it's a negated phrase, a gawin statement. We're talking about we all, including you, did not eat sandwiches. Gigii-miijin and falls off. We need our negation right in there, shimmy, like right in there, really close to that verb. And then we add on the rest of our people. Gigii-miijin. And what it was, biitoonigan. No, we did not eat sandwiches. Same idea. No, we, but not you, just us. We didn't eat sandwiches. You guys ate pizza. We, Ingii. I don't know why I did that. Okay. That's just a form of nin for ninuwind. Ingii-miijin. Gawin Ingii-miijin biitoonigan. Oh man. Holy, this is going for a while. I was trying to go fast. All right. Feel free to rewind and pause and review as much as you want. I know I'm going kind of fast. Let's see. Let's do Ginawa, Winawa. We should probably talk about Go Doug, fourth person. So anyway, nodding. Use, you all are fetching it. We'll pretend that we already mentioned what that object was previously. Maybe it was bikwaakwad, maybe it was a book, maybe it was a cup, bikwaakwad, maybe it was a piece of paper, bikwaakwad. Anyway, use, plural, are fetching it. Nadin wa. You all fetch it. What if you are fetching more than one thing, like masnaigansan? That's paper, but we want more than one paper. You just add your N here. Ginadinawan masnaigansan. How about they are fetching it? More than one they, we know what we're talking about. More than one him or her. The only thing that changes, the end stays the same. They are fetching papers. We just use the form of ween in the front because it's plural ween. Ween is a form of O. Ween-wa is a form of O plus awa. So it's literally ween that's pluralized. Onadinawan misnaigansan. They all fetch papers. They all go get papers. Maybe you told them to do that for an assignment or something. Now, if they are not going to go fetch the papers, that N falls off. Onade, you get a form of C, which is in this case N, seen. And then you have awa. For plural agreement down here. If you're only talking about one item, then you don't need the N. But onad, I forgot one of the most important things. Gawin needs to work together with seen. Can't have it without gawin. So gawin onad is sinawa. Gawin onad is sinawan. Masnaigansan. No, they all did not go get papers. So that's how that one works. Now let's see, if we are talking about obviation or obviatives, obviatives are again the fourth person. That's when, let's say you're talking about Bob in the sentence, and Bob is ween. So that ween space has already, the third person ween has already been taken up grammatically. That means when you want to talk about Rachel in the same phrase or sentence, Rachel cannot use verbs the same way that Bob does. Bob is going to get all of the ween verbs, all of the verbs that are like, oh, nodding. This is Bob. Bob fetches it. But Rachel wants to fetch it. Rachel can't take up ween conjugation in here. So we need to add something on. We're going to have Rachel, and you have a marker on her name that indicates that she's the fourth person, that she is of less grammatical importance. She's like, doesn't have the main character energy. Bob has the main character energy. She's kind of a background character, just grammatically. So we're just going to add yun or un onto her name, Rachel Yun. Or Rachel one. It's hard with English names. I should have chosen Rachel. Rachelian. Yeah, that kind of negates her name to demotes it down to fourth person. Again, she's just as important as a person. It's just grammatical importance. And then let's say she is also fetching something else. So she is O. Not in, oh, this is ween form. We can't do that because Bob is ween. Because if we did this, it would look like we're talking about Rachel, and then all of a sudden Bob is fetching something because this is the Bob form. It doesn't have a marker on it that indicates fourth person. So we need to throw a marker on there indicating Rachel. Not in it. Now we know that Rachel is the one who is doing the fetching, because this and this are in agreement, letting us know that the action is being performed by her because both of them are conjugated according to the fourth person. This is kind of like in English when you say like Bob and Rachel went to the store and one of them bought a pop and the other bought candy, and it's ambiguous and you don't know who bought pop or who bought candy. That wouldn't happen in Ojibwe, because if Bob was buying pop and he's third person ween, you'd have like Ojibwe Wayne soda pop. Meanwhile, you'd have Rachel Yun Ojibwe. How does that work? Oh yeah, Ojibwe we candy, which I can't think of what candy is off the top of Ingii-apagadoon. And so the verb would agree with the person's name, and so you would know who was doing it because you would have a sound and visual marker. That was a lot, I'm sorry. If I want to say Rachel is not fetching it, Bob is fetching it, but Rachel is not fetching it. The only difference is the N falls off. We have our Gaween in front, Gaween. Rachel Yun Onadisi. Not a scene. Ingii. Yes. Oh, that's the wrong. Yeah. Ingii. And then this and this match up. Gaween Rachel Yun not a scene any. This, even though it doesn't really sound like the ending, it's still a fourth person marker, they're telling you that this is what Rachel did. It's not what Bob did. So that is our negated fourth person and our non-negated fourth person. So that is VTI 2s and 3s. I kind of rushed through that, so I apologize. And I hope that you followed. Feel free to rewind, rewatch, do the transparent language lesson that helps practice with this. Definitely take your paradigms. I've got some here. Yeah, mine here. And I just sit there with this and we'll write out sentences just to practice positives and negated ones. So that helps. Just to get used to it, practice saying it. Record yourself, play it off your phone in the car, practice in the mirror in the bathroom, and email me or post your questions in the Google Classroom if you would like. I'm also trying to make a Facebook group for everybody, but unfortunately for it to be a private group, the invite code only lasts for 48 hours, so I have to keep making new invite codes. And if you see it and you want in, and that invite code is not active, just send me a message and I will send you a new code. So that way I'm trying to make a Facebook that is a network for all of you teachers and staff and language learners within the Head Start childcare groups to ask questions, ask for translations, help each other out, etc. So I hope you enjoy. Miigwech Ginawa for joining me. Miigwech Bisndamalian, thank you for listening. Listen, yeah. Bamapi.